Okay, hey Ollyvee, let's take a look at this new set of essays. First, we've got the one about the school subjects in Germany. The graph represents the popular subjects at school in Germany, such as the subjects 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. The units are measured by percentage, or in percentage is better, in percentages, S. Overall, it can be seen that the most popular, not curriculums, that's the wrong word, the popular subjects in Germany are physical education, physics, maths, and history compared to geography and biology, which were considered the less popular subjects. In addition, information technology, get rid of school subject, was an insignificant portion of the chart. All right? So there are a few pieces of grammar that need to be corrected here. Other than that, it's okay. It's fine. All right. So in 1990, why are we talking about 1997? Why are you talking about 1997? I don't understand that. This is clearly about 2017, so I don't know why you said that. Probably just a mistake. Okay. In 2017, it should just be physical education and that's it, nothing else. So in 2017, physical education had a significant portion of around a quarter of the pie, which was also followed by history at around 22.4%. Mathematics and physics were also popular subjects of about 19.5 and 18.1% respectively. All right, so you see I'm changing around some of the words, some of the grammar. So what you're focusing on is okay, but the grammar and the words have to be improved a little bit. Moving on. Meanwhile, biology had a portion of roughly 7.1%, which was considered slightly higher than geography at around 6.4%. Lastly, information technology, no subject rather. Information technology was around 3.7%, which was the tiniest portion of the pie. I don't really like that word, the tiniest, which was the least portion of the pie chart, meaning that this was not a popular subject in 2017. Okay, now let me tell you a few things about this chart. This is one of those difficult ones to write about because it's literally only 7 pieces of information. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. What are you missing here? Biology is missing. Why don't you just write biology? I don't understand that. I know you mentioned it elsewhere, so as long as you mentioned it somewhere, that's fine, but you should have mentioned it here as well. Okay. This is one of the difficult ones to do because there is so little information to work with. What that means is that you have to make connections between the data in order for it to be meaningful. Otherwise, it just feels very monotonous and very like, oh, this was the highest, this was the second highest, this was the third highest, etc., etc. It just sounds like a list. You don't want to do that. So you have to make some important connections here. You did make a couple. You said that this was higher than this. You did some stuff like that. But there was more you could have done here. Take, for example, IT, which you said was the tiniest portion. Great. Yeah, that's true. It is. But if you look at it, it's like, where is physical education? I think this is physical education. But anyway, the point is that it's like 7 times less than physical education. So these are some of the connections you can make. You could say that the lowest subject was, the least popular subject was 7 times lower than the most popular subject. In contrast, the second most popular subject, which was biology, was just 1/3 of the 2 most popular subjects, or of the first most popular subject, or the second most popular subject, because they're so similar. So those are some connections you can make, which really show the differences in these figures and how they relate to one another. Okay? That's the important thing to do here, and that's the way you extend your answers, that you make sure you've got this, this word count that you have to be concerned about as well. Okay? All right. I want to move on to your task 2 here. Online translations, fine. More people around the world are now relying on Google, Microsoft, and nuanced translator applications, as here, please, nowadays. This essay will discuss why the masses are using these ESE types of apps, because they are free for the public to use despite no, you've got some problems here. I want to fix some of this a little bit. So you're not going to say why, because then you tell us why. So really it should be, This essay will discuss that the masses are using these types of apps because they are free for the public to use. You don't even have to say that. They're free for the public despite their drawbacks. So as you can see, I really needed to make quite a few changes there. Okay? Yeah, so let's see. On the one hand, technology companies are developing translation apps that are widely available for free for the public globally. The central reason for this is you do not need to rely on a human translator, which costs a lot of money. Just don't even say to hire hourly, just which costs a lot of money. And also, using this app can give you a direct translation, no S. For example, businessmen traveling to China are no longer required. No longer require a personal translator when doing. You don't do a business deal, you conduct a business deal, or you do business. So why don't we stick with that? When doing business, because it can converse using a free translation app from Google, from English capital to Mandarin Chinese capital, so instantaneously, get rid of the word language. Consequently, this service will be continued to be used due to the fact it is a free service to the masses worldwide. Okay, you could have said something else about that, about how this is beneficial. Therefore, it is accessible. Therefore, it is very, honestly, it's accessible and makes language and translation and this sort of communication really a free service to everyone. You could have extended that just a little more. On the other hand, Google and Microsoft Translator apps are not always right in terms of translating words or sentences. There's a tendency for it to misinterpret its meaning. For instance, an incident in the hospital in Singapore in 2010. No, there's grammar problems here. For instance, you could say there was an incident in the hospital in Singapore in 2010. Where it was believed that a physician mistakenly interpreted a wrong diagnosis because of using Google Translator with a Russian patient. The doctor typed multiple sclerosis. The doctor typed multiple sclerosis, which was converted to multiple scoliosis in Russian, capital R, no language, which upset the patient. Therefore, relying on this translation app could cause confusion and misunderstanding to other people. In conclusion, I firmly believe that the advantages overshadow, not past tense, the disadvantages because this mobile or online translation app is free of charge for all service users, despite the fact that it not misleads, that's the wrong word, it misinterprets some words or meanings at times. Okay, so okay, let's look at a few things here now, shall we? First of all, the topic says benefits and disadvantages, which means that they want at least 2 benefits and at least 2 disadvantages. How many did you come up with? Here, essentially, it looks like you only talked about one, which is that it's free, so that people can use it everywhere. But really, it was just one reason, okay? And then here, the main disadvantage that you talked about is that there's just, that it can make mistakes, essentially, that it's not flawless. So, unfortunately, you're only partially answering the task because it asks you for benefits, more than one, and disadvantages, more than one as well. So, as you can see, this is the kind of thing that certainly won't put you up there in one of those higher band scores, okay? Because you only gave one of each type, one disadvantage and one advantage. You basically said that the advantages were better, were more important, which means that you have to reverse the order of your paragraphs. This should go closer to your conclusion because what we do is we use the side that we support as an anchor and we write it, we put it closer to the bottom, closer to our conclusion. So you need to reverse those paragraphs as well. Okay? And there were grammar problems. There were quite a few of these that I caught and that I tried to point out to you. So those are things I want you to work on a little bit, all of those areas. I guess the vocabulary was fine. I didn't really have any issues with that. But your grammar did have some problems. So go ahead, correct these, and let's see another set of essays from you. We'll be waiting for them. Best of luck with your next set.